prophet is not allowed to intervene in the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. SubhanAllah. Look at the perfection of a religion where a human being cannot give his 2 cents worth of opinions in the divine prescription of God. Whereas you read other scriptures, you'll find people like Paul and other great personalities in other religions are giving their 2 cents worth of opinions, which has led to all kinds of misunderstandings and destruction in the societies today. So the Quran remains a perfect book, even noted by Orientalists. It is a book where no one has meddled with it in terms of its just sheer quality of reading it. Forget about its history, that if I read it right now, it will make my skin to shudder because it's so pristine and beautiful. Now, bottom line though, brothers and sisters, bottom line, at the end of the day, our obligation is to look at role models, as I mentioned yesterday. Role models are extremely essential because at the end of the day, the translation of philosophies can only happen when it's acted out. So I can stand up here on the pulpit and pontificate all I want and speak all greatness about, for example, myself or about how great Islam is. It is absolutely useless if I don't put it in practice on the pulpit and off the pulpit. Bottom line, if I don't act it, I'm a useless individual. In fact, it's an insult to the logic that was brought forth. It's an insult because now it's a contradiction to what I say. So at the bottom line, if you and I were to ask, what is the most important element that you and I need to subject ourselves to? You will see role models. Who do I look up to as my guiding light by which I emulate my entire philosophy towards in conforming what I believe in the Quran through actions and transactions? And this is why we insist that prophets and A'immah and the Ahlul Bayt who represented that are the only people who are at the helm of such discussions. Everyone else is subject to their scrutiny, meaning we have to use them as a lens by which to look at everyone else. So yesterday we were talking about Khadija alayhi salam as one of the ultimate role models of womanhood, who sets many, many standards for us to understand that if I were a woman and I would say, how should I be a mother? I need to look like Khadija alayhi salam. How should I be as a wife? I should look at Khadija alayhi salam. And as you know, from her comes Fatima al-Zahra salamullahi alayha as a role model wife to Imam Ali alayhi salam. That never in her life did she complain. That even Imam Ali alayhi salam was hoping for her to one day ask for something. And she did prior to her death, where she asked for pomegranate. And you find Imam Ali alayhi salam was so deeply touched that his wife has asked for something. Now no one can reach those perfect standards. We're not saying that we should be like that exactly or go ahead of them. But of course our obligation is to get near to them. So as women we have to ask ourselves, how can I be like Khadija alayhi salam? But brothers and sisters, honestly, you and I cannot reach that stage. Impossible. Haphazardly, randomly, impossible. There is no way you and I will reach it. The only way you and I will reach that is when we reflect on the value of life. When Allah says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَهْلِيكُمْ نَارًا وَقُودُهَا النَّاسُ وَالْحِجَارَ. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, oh you who believe, save yourselves and your family from the fire of hell. Be introspective, be reflective. What am I doing as a husband? What am I doing as a wife? What are my mistakes as a parent? Often I see in our societies children who are highly confused because parents are raising children incorrectly. They are beating them at the wrong time when they should not even beat them. I was just walking outside right now. A kid did something and another girl came and smacked him. You know, he spilled something. She smacked him on the face. And I'm just looking. I said, here's the problem already brewing right here. I'm just walking in here. A kid spilled something. She smacks him on the head. Now imagine if I was that child. I said, so when there's a problem, you beat. And then these kids get so used to being smacked, they smack. And then the next thing we become belligerent, pugnacious creatures, all the time fighting. We're looking for fights. We're like beasts of burden. And we go outside paying top dollars to go, two people get into a ring and beat each other to a pulp. Because we enjoy it. We're no different like the Romans who used to get entertained by the emperors of their time to silence them from their misdeeds. They would take them to the Colosseum to watch the gladiators kill each other and the lions eat the Christians. Are we that low? Why have we reached this stage? When I see a child doing that, to me I don't blame that child. When a child smacks, And I see this child is also overweight. So how did this child get so overweight? Now I'm not putting judgments on anybody. How did this child get this state? Is this physically proper? SubhanAllah, 2 days ago I was talking to this brother Abdul Rauf. We were talking about the human physics. That when your waistline is very lean, the human being, it's just an elegant body. When you look at a human being who's very lean and very well fashioned, they're just magnificent to look at. No human being has been trained to do that. There's something innate in us to admire that. We admire a person who's physically fit. The body just starts to glow. But forget that. Examine the ability to perform. He was telling me, he says, people do pull-ups. They do pull-ups and then they do dips with the pull-ups. How do you do that? Gymnasts do that. Ever see a body of a gymnast? SubhanAllah. They are so lean, they're so well-fashioned. Practice, practice, practice. But you ask them, how do you live? They live a very careful life of practice and perfect, what we call close to perfect methods of eating. Lifestyles are adaptive. Now what happens as a result? You become highly productive in your performance. You amaze the human mind. I can't imagine that you can actually go horizontal on a bar. While holding a bar, you're completely horizontal. The human arm can just hold your entire body vertical, which challenges many forms of physics. Why am I saying this? When you and I teach children to be properly bred, we become highly productive. We become highly effective. We live a healthy life. Now, if a child has gone out of whack, it's not because this child is a voracious eater. It's because misinformation is going into this child. There's confusion in the child because as parents, we haven't taken account through introspective reflection of what our obligations are on how to be a parent. Allah exemplifies this in the Quran. He says, الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا وَعَلَى جُنُوبِهِمْ وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. They are reflective, standing, sitting, lying on their side. They are reflective. رَبَّنَا مَا خَلَقْتَ هَذَا بَاطِلًا سُبْحَانَكَ فَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. You didn't create this in vain. Allah says, so how are you going to connect? What are you going to do? Are you going to be impulsive every day? That's all it is in this world. It's about materialism. And that I should show off, and that I have to go into the public and create a facade of a kind of a person, and we are just so busy in the gossip of the human minds, that we are busy shredding people's lives when we haven't looked at ourselves in the mirror. Is this what life is about? We look at our role models, they never did this. They had no time for this rubbish. But look at us, we say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Subhanallah. We say, Labbaik. Labbaik what? Allah says, get off your slumber, stand up. Like He says to Yahya, Ya Yahya, khudh al-kitab bi-quwwa. What's the matter with you? Look, we're going to the grave alone. When we create these kinds of hell in our families, we don't realize that we are causing a domino effect of a lot of problems. That when I deal with these problems, I said this could have been avoided 100 times, very simply. All it took for a father to hug their child once. How many fathers hug their children the way they should be hugged? How many fathers sit down with their children rather than slapping them on the face because they're annoying us to sit down and ask them, why are you doing this? Do we even bother to ask our children? Have children been taught to respect their parents? That they talk to them roughly. So many mothers come to me and say, my son is 16 years of age. Can you please tell him to respect me? He's very rude and harsh to me. We all fall for that. All of us are victims of such unfortunate misbehaviors. We are like this. Have we thought for a second the value system? We haven't sat down to evaluate. That when it comes to a small little glittering material thing, we're all rushing towards it. We're ready to kill for it. Only to be transient that in the annals of history, this group of people killed each other for this pot of gold. But the gold remained, they're all buried. And we laugh at them as these fools. It was just a piece of metal. Yeah, but to the person then, it was so valuable, he was willing to kill his own brother. I've seen stories where brothers tear each other's wills of fathers and mothers who have left them money. I receive emails all the time where one brother is holding back the will of his father to the other brother, and he embezzles the whole thing. He says, it's my right. On what grounds can a human being do that? Unless they have not evaluated the transient nature of this world to the extent that they can now damage their own brothers, only to lose out this world and the next world. What's the value? The Quran is a book of reflection, brothers and sisters, but it's useless unless you and I sit and reflect. And we say, what is my value in life? All these things I have is a ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What am I doing with it? Am I a valid father? Am I a valid mother? Am I a valid woman in society? Do I represent womanhood in society? Do I represent a man in society? Am I a good contributor to this society? Or am I a burden in society? In our communities we have fasiqeen. We have troublemakers all the time ready to create trouble. Who are those people? If you examine them, they are victims and victimizers. All these people who do bad things. So what's the objective? The objective is for us, as even as a few, to be strong role models. The world is hungry for role models. Hungry for good role models. That's all it takes. People ask me, how do I bring my friend to Islam? I said, you practice it. Yeah, but what should I say to them? I said, don't say anything. But brother, I need to say something. I said, no, you don't. You don't have to be articulate. You don't have to be eloquent. You don't. You just need to practice it. There is greater eloquence in practice than in words. Even Imam Ali alayhi salam, subhanallah, in his shahada, in this blessed month of Ramadan, when he becomes shaheed, prior to his departure, he says, all my sermons will not equal this lifeless body that you will see after my departure from this world. Imam Ali alayhi salam, the most eloquent human being on earth that has given us lectures without the letter alif. No one can do that. The eloquence of Najul Balagha, sometimes I read it over and over and over. I said, no human being can speak like this. Impossible. This eloquence is too deep. And I will spend a lifetime opening up this one sentence, and this sentence will keep talking to me. What a blessing. Yet he says, my death is a greater lesson for you. Look how Allah is merciful. We don't have to be eloquent. We just need to be good role models. I know I'm speaking this way sincerely for a reason. That I say to myself, my community, our communities in the world where we live in today, is, our respected Sheikh was mentioning that today in Syria, you go in Burma, Myanmar, 28,000 Muslims being killed. You go to Georgia, you go to Bosnia, Muslims are still being killed and butchered. You go to Afghanistan, our lovers of Ahlul Bayt are being butchered left, right and center. Those Hazara brothers who are predominantly Shia in Afghanistan are refugees predominantly in the Islamic Republic of Iran. So marginalized people. Why? Only because they love Ahlul Bayt? Deep down you might say, oh, it's our trial, because we're such good people. No. Allah says, وَنُرِيدُ أَن نَمُنَّ عَلَى الَّذِينَ اسْتُضْعِفُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَنَجْعَلَهُمْ أَئِمَّةً وَنَجْعَلَهُمُ الْوَارِثِينَ. It is our desire, you mustad'afin, that you will be the inheritors. But when does a mustad'af become an inheritor? It's when he acts on his transactions, and Allah says, this Quran, إِنَّ هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ يَهْدِي لِلَّتِي هِيَ أَقْوَمُ. Quran will guide you. I'm speaking heart to us all. In the Quran, we have role models the Quran touches that we need to ponder. When we read Surah Yusuf, for example, when we read that, when we see Yusuf alayhi salam, put ourselves in his shoes. When Yusuf is in the well, when he's praying, when, for example, Yunus alayhi salam is in the belly of the whale. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu min al-zalimin fastajabna lahu wa najjaynahu min al-gham wa kadhalika nunji al-mu'minin. Look, Yunus is in the belly of the whale. He's begging from Allah. He's in a state of difficulty. Every one of us here has been in that moment where either you're in court and somebody now is going to put you in trouble, or your entire asset is on the line, or your life is on the line, or somebody's going to make a judgment, you don't know your future. What do you and I do? Often we forget the role models that Allah has laid behind and say, remember Yunus? How he was in the belly of the whale? Did you take him as an example? Did you for a moment ponder, while you were sitting, standing and lying on your side, did you consider yourself to be like him? How many of us do that? How many of us pray to Allah in sujood and say, oh Allah, make me follow the path of Yusuf, where he's reached high status.